Omihi Creek is the most productive blackcurrant orchard in the country. Since 2006, the Eder family has developed the intensive horticulture property and created new blackcurrant products, as well as a market for them. In addition to that, the Eders have built a contracting business. It impressed the judges of the Canterbury Balanced Farm Environment Awards sufficiently to earn them the Massey University Discovery Award.
I wanted to do something I knew something about. My grandfather and father and his brother were growing blackcurrants since 1969, so I had a fair idea of what we needed to do here, although it's a different climate, so we learned a few things on the way. But I couldn't afford to spend 5 years making mistakes before I learnt what to do properly. So you make enough mistakes still now and again with just growing what you already know. It takes 3 to 4 years to get up to your average or full production. So we had a 500 tonne crop last year, which was a bit down on what we were expecting, but this year we're expecting to produce 1,000 tonne, or this coming season. And then once we get to 1,000 tonne with the new plantings coming on, we hope to hold it there for at least 5 to 6 years on 1,000 tonne per year. The bigger the scale, the easier it is to sell. You've got more volume, especially if you're selling to some big guys. You've got a couple hundred tonne, 300 or 400 tonne. You can say, yep, there you go. The national production 4 years ago was 10,000 tonnes. Unfortunately, the last 3 years, due to weather conditions, frosts, winds, disease, it's only been a bit over 6,000 tonnes. So, yeah, even last year at 500 tonnes, yeah, we're nearly 10%. But with 1,000 tonnes, as it grows, I'd say 10% is a pretty good average. The pruning we're doing now, it's making light for next year's crop, or for this season's coming crop, and also the following year it'll be providing more fruit. In the past, when they didn't have this sort of gear, you'd have to go through by hand. I didn't put my hand up for that when I was young, and so it's quite time consuming. So we're travelling at probably about 2.5 kilometres an hour, so probably averaging half a hectare an hour. So we probably select different blocks each year on ages and heights, density. Sometimes lighter soils, the bushes will be more dense, so you need to try and keep the light into the bush. Without the light, the buds don't develop properly, and when you're at flowering time, they flower. The light doesn't get into the flowers and they don't produce anything, they just fall off. It does look quite rough, and it is, but the blackcurrants don't mind. I mean, they're pretty hard wood, and all the buds below that, they'll just start growing up. It doesn't seem to bother at all. They've been using this system over in Europe for the last 10 years, and they've had great success. They probably use twice the water of grapes. 1st of November we usually start irrigation, and it's all underground. And coming up to harvest months, we'll be putting on probably about 30 to 40 millimetres a week. What we're trying to do with the organic block and all the blocks is we want to limit our passes over with tractors, and we want to provide something that's good for the soil. So we came up with subclover, because it's an annual. You've got to drill it once. Once you get it established, it flowers usually around the end of November, and then drops the seed on the ground and generally just dies. So you've got a beautiful weed mat, stops the weed growing through the weeds, and it's nitrogen fixing. And you're not using any extra water because it's died down, and it's just beautiful mulch. And then you get the rains right in February, March, all that seed starts growing again, up again, and we've let it grow. I mean, there's quite a lot of weeds come up as well, but we have store lambs that come in here in the winter and they eat it all off, and it works out really well. About 8 years ago we bought a grape harvester for the purpose of harvesting our blackcurrants. New technology, it harvests faster, and also it's what they call a MAV, which is a multi-adaptation vehicle. So the harvester head comes off, and we've got a 4-row sprayer that attaches to the back, so we can use that same tractor piece MAV for the spraying. And then also our idea was to start harvesting grapes. Often, when you buy machinery, like we've got blackcurrant harvesters, people buy grain headers. They use them for 1 month of the year, 6 weeks, put them in the shed, and there's a lot of money tied up there. So we wanted to try and buy something that we could get more value out of. This is known as a barrel pruner, used for spur pruning. We've got a series of knives which are fixed inside, around the inside here, and the outside just turns, and you just drive just above the cordon on the grapes, and everything above just gets chopped into pieces, little wee pieces, and just falls on the ground. We've got a sensor here. This senses the posts, and the whole thing just opens up, closes back round, senses the posts, so you're not chopping the posts about. Doesn't cut any wires. The wires just move either side of these. This type of pruning is quite common in Pinot, Pinot Gris, Riesling. You can do Gewurz and Chardonnay, but it doesn't really work very well with Sauv.
The products we've got on the table here that you see in front of us, we've got various different ways we use blackcurrant. We've got some dried blackcurrants here, which are very tasty and great to put in muffins and baking. The antioxidants within this product are very, very good for you. It's natural vitamin C in there, very, very healthy. We've also got other products that we're working on. You can't actually buy these at the moment, they're not on the market, but they're blackcurrants coated in chocolate and yogurt, which is really delicious. Here we've got some blackcurrant tablets you can buy in New Zealand. This is one of our favourite products because obviously we made this ourselves. Mark has always had a dream of doing this, and it was his uncle that had a recipe. Unfortunately he passed away, but we've now got it to the bottle, which is brilliant. The Mudhouse make it for us. We have a fabulous winemaker. We won a gold medal on it, which is very exciting. And we've also exported this to Japan. Our Japanese clients buy it as well.
The judges of the awards were also impressed with the substantial amount of time and effort that Eda's put into the local community through the Greening Waipara project. This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.